And I now give the floor for the second intervention, which will be of 5 minutes, to the representative of Armenia.
I thank you, Mr. President. Protracted conflicts cannot be resolved by bringing forward protracted accusations and distorted narratives which are very well known. We took note that Azerbaijani delegation failed to address any of the well-documented arguments belonging not to the Armenian side but to the reports of international organizations. The people of Nagorno-Karabakh is de facto independent since dissolution of the Soviet Union, when it exercised its inherent right for self-determination according to the state legislation and international law. Therefore, claims of Azerbaijan to exercise its sovereignty over the people of Nagorno-Karabakh are baseless and lack any legal grounds. In spite of the peaceful and legitimate nature of the manifestations in Nagorno-Karabakh, of peaceful nature, from the very beginning Azerbaijan rejected dialogue, resorted to the language of threats and intimidation, and pursued policy of violent oppression of the free will of the people. Thousands of Armenians were killed and maimed. Hundreds of thousands were deported. The massacres of the Armenian population of Azerbaijan clearly demonstrated that the Azerbaijani authorities pursued the goal of total extermination of the Armenian population, and the people of Nagorno-Karabakh face existential threat. We would like to stress, first, that the status and security of the people of Nagorno-Karabakh are key issues of the conflict resolution and absolute priority of the Republic of Armenia. Second, the people and authorities of Nagorno-Karabakh should have a decisive role in conflict resolution. The attempts to objectify Nagorno-Karabakh and its people contradict not only the origin of the conflict, to which I have already made a reference, but to the facts on the ground today. Nagorno-Karabakh is not a no man's land. It is populated by its indigenous people, who constituted absolute majority in all stages of the conflict. Without stronger involvement of elected representatives of Nagorno-Karabakh, any search for durable peace will not be genuine. The role of the Nagorno-Karabakh authorities is essential in all fields of their competence and jurisdiction on the ground. We reiterate that there is no military solution to the conflict. The military paradigm of the conflict should be entirely overcome. This was the primary call of the UN Security Council resolutions, which up to date Azerbaijan fails to implement. The reduction of tensions should be followed by consolidation of the ceasefire regime through implementation of commitments reached in Vienna, St. Petersburg, and Dushanbe. Fifth, creation of environment conducive for peace requires not only reducing tensions and settling up mechanisms for monitoring and verification, but preparation of people for peace. We took note that Azerbaijani side was silent about the messages, positive messages, by the Prime Minister of Armenia voiced yesterday in this august body. Hostile rhetoric and maximalist stances, casting doubt on the very possibility of compromise, nurture animosity but not peace. And last point, in response to the reference of the Azerbaijani delegation to the democratically elected authorities of Nagorno-Karabakh as, I quote, racist puppet regime, we would like to stress that according to the reports of a number of international human rights organizations, Nagorno-Karabakh is far ahead of the Azerbaijan in terms of democracy, respect for human rights, and rule of law. Therefore, a delegation which represents here a hereditary regime where the power is transferred within the framework of one family has little grounds to finger-point democratic government formed on the basis of free expression of will of its citizens. I thank you, Mr. President.
The meeting is adjourned.